I want to show you my method for drawing one method, okay? It's not like the be all end all. There's always going to be like a million different ways to do something. And this is just a really fun, very organic, very loose way to do petals and stems and leaves and anything organic in your botanical drawings, in your florals, anything like that. Anything, shrubs, things like that. So I'm going to show you in a few different ways. So actually, instead of starting with this one, let's start with just a regular pencil. And I just want to show you a method. So if you just kind of hold your pencil slightly loosely, just like not a death grip, just comfy, like that. Do like that. And this is like very much like intuitive. So, you just sort of start, you can look at your picture because you're definitely going by what you're seeing. But as you're drawing, you're sort of turning, you're going to be turning your instrument like that. So, you see, there's a leaf, sorry, not a leaf, there's a petal right there. And you're just turning, it just sort of, I'm drawing the inside of this guy. So you see like these lines that I'm drawing, they're little petals. And then if you have one that's sort of flipped a little bit, you do like that. You're just sort of turning your pencil. You're just turning it so your wrist comes into play. So you're just sort of like turning it as you're drawing, but in a organic kind of way, like in a way that feels natural. So it might take practice to do this, to get into the groove of it. But what you get when you do this is there's all these little curvatures and scallops that you see, and you get that in your little petal when you do that. So you're really going by feel, and you're looking at your picture, right? So you're looking because you're drawing by looking at your photo or your subject. And, so back and forth a little bit just to make sure you're on track. But it kind of doesn't matter too, because you're not drawing from life per se. You're, emulating your flower. So, it doesn't have to be, it can be what you want it to be. But you really do, you say your goal is, I want to make my petals look like real petals. How do you get your artwork to look like an actual petal, like in life, such as here? Even though I don't believe in like putting the pressure on oneself to like, unless you're like a drawing from life artist, that's a different thing. But um, you know, that's not my ball of putty. But so yeah, so this is, you're just turning you're just turning your pencil like that, just gently while you're drawing, to emulate, the line that you get for your petals. And it's a really fun and loose way to get what you're looking for, which is some little petals that look like the petals of a rose. And then you can like go in and you can do extras in there if you want. And you can add some more like that. right? So there we have one in pencil. So I want to show you how to do this in other media because pencil's great, but we all use lots of different things. I mean, you could even do this with a ballpoint pen. You could do it with anything. Let's try it with, this is a felt tip pen. So we're going to try it with a felt tip pen. So this time let's draw, well, we could draw the same one. It's going to look different, but we can do the same. We can work from the same flower. So we're just going to be like, turning. You're moving around the circumference of your instrument. So you want to get, the vibe of the, I'm doing the center of the flower right now. And then, excuse me. So different drawing instruments that you use are going to be, they're going to have a different feel and they're going to look a little bit different. And that's fine. It's just, everything has its own personality, right? And then you can do little striations in there if you want. This pen particularly is not waterproof, so I wouldn't be like using this to go into it later with watercolor or anything, but you could use a waterproof pen to do that if you wanted to draw your initial lines with this. And, ever so slightly, you're just sort of moving your hand and your wrist is coming into play too. So you're just keeping everything very loose and like intuitive and just relaxed, right? No death grip. You're just drawing your little loose flower and you're turning your fingers like this. And look, we're getting a little flower out of this. And look, it actually looks organic because look at the edges you get. Getting some nice edges. And again, there's a million different ways to draw a flower, draw a petal. This is one that I lean on time and time again. See how I'm turning? It's just easy. It's not like a force. You just let the pen do what it's going to do and you're just sort of guiding it in different directions and getting different line.